And that's why the president has asked for $100 million to launch a new initiative to map the human brain. Truly the last frontier. And the prospects are overwhelming to the very thing we're most concerned about mental health. Look, we can't do any of this alone. And it's not in the province of government. That's why we need you. And I want to thank Valerie, Jared, and my staff for reaching out to all of you, putting this together. You're the ones who are able to reach millions of Americans through all forms of media. It's not just Glenn Coase and Bradley. It's you all have significant reach.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Well, you teach our children, you treat our patients, you minister to the faithful. And I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you in this room, individuals and organizations like, for the commitments you've made and those who have been ahead of the curve, as most of you in this room have been ahead of the curve. My friend, and he really is my friend, John DeGeorge, I just wish I had more kids and even get to Georgetown if I had a shot. Although more Bidens have gone to Georgetown than anybody wants to acknowledge. I told him I should at least name a sidewalk after me or something. But I want to thank you, John, for Jack, for the efforts you made to integrate the conversations about mental health and wellness into the curriculum and in students' lives as undergraduates. It's a serious guy. I hope more universities, campuses replicate the program you've put in place. And I also want to thank, he's not here, but my good friend Gordon Smith. Gordon and I served in the United States Senate. As he will tell you, we're here, we've been close friends. And when he went through what is probably the most frightening and horrible prospect any parent could face, of losing his son to suicide. He, unlike a lot of us who had not the same loss, the loss of a child, he had the courage to relive it every day by speaking out. Because make no mistake, all of you know this, every time Gordon Smith stands up to talk about this issue, it comes home immediately. It is not a distant memory. Tractor trailer killing my wife and daughter is not a distant memory. Every time talking about highway safety, it is not a distant memory. Every time you show up at a funeral, it is not a distant memory. And I want to publicly acknowledge his courage. The courage to take a terrible tragedy that happened to him and provide help to other parents, other families, so they may be spared the agony that his family endured. And now he is representing the National Association of Broadcasters. And I don't think it's an accident that they've concluded that National Public Health Service campaign to reduce the stigma around mental illness is part of our obligation as well. So I thank them, but I also thank Gordon. And in another context, although this was part of it, I met with the representatives of the video game industry. They agreed that they're going to engage in public health, public service announcements about mental health. But to all of you, faith groups, the school groups, the healthcare groups, so many others, thank you for your commitment and your dedication to this essential work. My mom were here, God love her, she'd look at you and say, you're doing God's work. No, you really are. You're doing God's work. Because what a lonely, lonely, lonely family. I have a friend who passed away, my college roommate, who was having real problems with his son, with mental illness. And I'll never forget what he said to me. He said, Joe, this is a big, fat guy who played ball together in Delaware. He was a big fella, Buffalo, New York, All-City, tough guy. And I'll never forget him saying to me, Joe, I'm frightened. And I said, what are you frightened about, Tom? He said, I feel like I'm going to make up the kid's name because I don't want to. I feel like Johnny is at the end of a string. This is the metaphor I stuck with me mind ever since he said it. He's on the end of a string and he's out there in space and I'm afraid. Joe, I'm afraid. I'm afraid if I tug it too hard, the string will break and I'll lose him forever. Forever. That's how a hell of a lot of people feel. Their child is on a string. Their husband is on a string. Their wife is on a string. They don't know what to do. If they tug too hard, they're afraid it will break and be lost forever. So let's use this moment. Let's use this moment to send a message to tens of millions of Americans, especially the young people and the parents of young people all over this country. There's nothing to be ashamed of if you're struggling with mental issues, or if your child is, or your spouse, or your friend. It's okay. It's okay to talk about it. It's okay to ask for help. It's okay to acknowledge that it is frightening. It's okay to help a friend. It's okay to intervene.